Hello everyone, Johnny Thunder, EAS&Weather here with your Day 2 Fire Weather Outlook. There's an extreme risk for wildfires tomorrow that encompasses east central and southeastern Wyoming and northeastern Oregon. They surely have an extreme risk for fire spread tomorrow, alright? So cities in the extreme fire weather risk area tomorrow include Yakima, Washington, Kennewick, Washington, Richland, Washington, Pasco, Washington, and Walla Walla, Washington. There is a critical fire weather risk area tomorrow covering parts of Washington State, parts of Oregon, far northern Nevada, parts of Idaho, and northwestern Montana for the elevated fire risk tomorrow. For the critical fire risk tomorrow. So, cities in the critical fire weather risk area tomorrow include Spokane, Washington, Bend, Oregon, Caldwell, Idaho, Lewiston, Idaho, and Helena, Montana. So, yeah. So there's dangerous fire weather conditions are expected across central and southeastern Washington and northern Oregon on day 2, which is Saturday. So, yeah. Alright, so first I'm going to read the previous discussion first and then read the update. So, in the discussion issued at 2:19 a.m. Central Time this morning, upper level ridging will remain in place from the desert southwest into the northern high plains on D2 Saturday as a potent upper level trough moves ashore across the Pacific Northwest and British Columbia. As this occurs, a surface low will amplify across southern Alberta, with a dry cold front progressing rapidly east-southeastward through the Pacific Northwest and northern Rockies. A tightening surface pressure gradient underlying a 35 to 45 knot 700 millibar jet will promote sustained strong southwesterly to westerly surface winds amid a very dry boundary layer. The best overlap of these conditions is forecast across portions of the Columbia Basin in central and eastern Washington, where dry downslope flow in the lee of the Cascades is expected to promote relative humidity reductions to 15 to 20% in conjunction with sustained surface winds of 20 to 30 miles per hour, locally higher in favored terrain gap flow areas, and gusts of 35 to 45 plus miles per hour. A few large wildfires are already ongoing across this region, and ERCs are noting to be approaching or exceeding the 95th percentile. This combination of meteorological and fuel conditions supports an upgrade to extremely critical with this outlook issuance. While the best overlap of the tightening surface pressure gradient and strengthening mid-level winds is forecast across eastern Washington, a broader area of critical fire weather conditions is also expected from eastern Oregon and far western Idaho into eastern Washington, the Idaho Panhandle, and northwestern and north-central Montana. Across this region, sustained surface winds of 20 to 25 miles per hour are forecasted to overlap very low relative humidity of 5 to 20%. With the lowest relative humidity values forecasted across southeastern Oregon and in the lee of the Rockies and north-central Montana, and ERCs commonly above the 90th to 98th percentiles. Recent guidance also suggests that a separate area of stronger pre-frontal southwesterly surface winds up to 20 miles per hour may manifest across portions of the eastern Idaho Saturday afternoon, which may support locally critical fire weather concerns. Sustained southwesterly winds of 15 to 20 miles per hour, very low relative humidity of 5 to 20%, and ERCs ranging from the 80th to 98th percentiles will also foster elevated fire weather concerns across a larger area, encompassing much of the northern Great Basin, eastern Pacific Northwest, northern Rockies, and portions of the northern High Plains. So, I'm going to read the update. So, the extremely critical risk area has been expanded in northern Oregon to account for downslope enhanced southwest to westerly surface winds and critically low relative humidity amid a very receptive fuelscape. Ahead of a dry cold front, southwesterly winds will gradually accelerate up to 20 miles per hour as relative humidity begins to decline. Notably, as the cold front passes in the morning and early afternoon hours, a wind shift from southwesterly to broadly westerly, perhaps to west-northwesterly in the evening, is depicted by high-resolution guidance, with sustained winds increasing up to 30 miles per hour. Daytime relative humidity values will range from 5 to 15% within the risk area, though should increase over 50% throughout overnight hours. The orientation of enhanced 850 to 500 millibar wind will gradually become more perpendicular to the Cascades and eventually the Northern Rockies in the late afternoon, tightening surface pressure gradients, generating a favorable environment for very strong downslope winds in the lee and immediate foothills of the higher terrain. Sustained winds of 30 plus miles per hour are possible, gusts over 50 miles per hour. As the trough translates eastward in the afternoon, robust southwesterly flow aloft will overspread the Northern Rockies. High-resolution guidance depicts the 700 millibar, 60 to 70 knot emerging along the Rocky Mountain front of north and central Montana, advancing strong downslope sustained winds up to 30 miles per hour greater, 50 mile per hour plus gusts, starting around 00Z and persisting through the overnight hours. Relative humidity values will range from 20 to 30% amid 99th annual percentile ERCs and increasingly receptive fuelscape. These overnight meteorological conditions have led to an expansion in critical fire weather highlights. The locally extremely critical conditions may be possible. Elevated to locally critical fire weather conditions are likely across the central mountains of Idaho into the Snake River Plain. The recent rainfall across eastern Ohio preclude the expansion of critical highlights. Hot and dry and windy conditions on day 2 Saturday will likely serve as a preconditioning style event, leading into expansive critical fire weather concerns on day 3 Sunday, alongside the emergence of lightning-induced holdovers. So, that's your day 2 fire weather outlook. Stay safe in the affected areas tomorrow. Stay safe and vigilant in these areas tomorrow, especially in the extreme area, because if you're in the extreme area, that's the highest risk for catastrophic wildfires. Alright? So, if I were you, I would gather supplies immediately, such as food, water, clothing, toiletries, medical supplies, a flashlight, a cell phone chargers, extra batteries, and a battery-powered radio in the event that you need to evacuate on a moment's notice, because fires can start and spread quickly. Please avoid outdoor burning in these areas tomorrow. Because all it takes is one little spark for a fire to start and spread quickly. Do not throw cigarettes on the ground. Even if they're not lit, because one, that's littering, which is illegal and unsafe and can result in pricey fines. And 2, all it takes is one little spark for a fire to start and spread quickly. And make sure your cigarette is fully out before throwing it away. So tomorrow is going to be a very dangerous wildfire day across these areas I'm mentioning, especially in the extreme and the critical fire weather concern areas. So you're gonna need to have a plan in place. You're gonna need to have a plan in place because fires can start and spread quickly. All right, so stay safe and vigilant in these areas tomorrow. I'm praying for these areas tomorrow. Now we'll go over all of this in tomorrow's Day 1 Fire Weather Outlook video. Take care.